seen my face. Of course, I am Autumn ASMR on both of my YouTube and Instagram and TikToks. And all my links will obviously be down in the description, family. But I also have a podcast here on YouTube as well as Spotify. And for those of you that didn't know, my Spotify podcasts go live a day before the video is posted on YouTube, so you can get an exclusive listen and watch on Spotify. And if you have Spotify Premium, you of course don't get any ads during the podcasts, and you can boost your Spotify minutes if you abuse your Spotify minutes the same way I do. So that is my little plug. I also offer custom videos and memberships on my YouTube. Of course, all of my links will be down in the description. But welcome to episode 2 of our lovely podcast here together. Thank you for coming to listen to me and relaxed with me. I've received so many positive messages from you guys from the first episode. And of course, I'd like to thank you all for continuing to support me. If you have not seen episode 1, I would highly recommend that you go back to get a little synopsis about the whole ASMR world, which of course we will be adding to on today, because today's video is going to be more personal. So if you like listening to a little story times, I invite you to get comfortable and cozy with me. Maybe grab a blanket, put on your favorite nighttime lotion. Just get comfortable, my love, because we're going to enjoy every single minute together today. And of course, I have my little outline for every podcast, so I stay on track, because you know I like to ramble. So with every podcast, I like to do a little weekly recap. Doing what have I done this week, you know, very basic things. So this week, or this past, week, up to the point I am now, I record these videos on a Tuesday so that I can post by Wednesday and Thursday for you guys. It's been a very up and down week for me, I would say. This is the first week I've been without my boyfriend because he went back to school while I stay here. It's very, if you guys are in a relationship where you're kind of at that medium distance length where you could go see this person obviously within a couple hours, but it's sort of hard to find the time with everyone's busy schedules. You know how difficult that can be, especially coming off after a winter break where I had seen him every single day. So it's hard now going on week 2 without seeing him. But hopefully I get to see him this weekend. He's coming to see me, so hopefully I will see him soon and reunite. But because I don't see him in, my day-to-day life anymore, I've had a lot of extra time on my hands, which is partially why I started the podcast, to fill my time. I don't know, I guess the anxiety in me doesn't like to be alone or not doing something, so I in turn fill my time accordingly. But with all this immense amount of extra time on my hands, especially with school, I'm at a very minimum. I'm like at the minimum amount of classes to take to be considered a full-time student. So which is great because I remember little me, my freshman year in college, being so overworked it wasn't funny. But now that I can relax, I don't necessarily have assignments that are kind of getting held over my head. It's great because I can finally breathe and take in the world. But you have to remember that for me, it's been probably 10 or 12 years. I'm repeating that for you, 10 to 12 years since I've had a lifestyle open up like this for me. So it's been a really long time for me since I've had this amount of free time in my life. And it's scary, you guys. It's scary being alone. And I've come to really, over the past 2 weeks, have had to learn that being alone is okay. And that, I don't know, it's been a wild ride because at the very beginning of this, like I said, I was determined to be involved and keep myself busy. But that ended up me completing all of my schoolwork up until March and April because I worked ahead. And I can because some of my classes are do it on your own, self-paced. So I took the opportunity my first week of being alone, so to speak, to really push through all of my schoolwork so it wasn't something I had to deal with. But now that I've overachieved and have gotten so ahead of myself, I now still don't have anything to do. So I've been, you guys, it feels like I'm complaining about not having things to do, but I love doing things, you guys. I love being involved. So to fill my time, I've done a lot of extra working out, making sure I get my extra 10,000 steps a day. I mentioned that I bought a walking treadmill in my last episode, and that has definitely helped me stay active and fill my time with something because it's usually towards the end of the night, between 8 p.m. and midnight, that I have to fill some sort of time that I'm not used to having. So it's really good to say, oh, I can walk on the treadmill for 30 minutes while I watch YouTube or something. I've been really trying to not get in the habit of doom scrolling over and over again on my phone. So I've picked up a couple books, and we'll talk about this later in the episode, but you guys, I have fell in love with reading again. It is the most, exciting thing ever. So I've picked up reading. I've been trying to make plans with friends, kind of rebuild the relationships with people that I used to have because of, unfortunately, my lifestyle within the past 2 or 3 years. I've been balls to the walls about school, soccer, so going out with friends, talking to friends more, I guess, too, being more with the family. This week I didn't have much school because of all the holidays, so I've really have taken a moment to sort of figure out, how do I want my life to be? What do I want to do? What is the meaning of life to me? And I've listened to a ton of podcasts this week, which I do love podcasts, like I've mentioned in the first episode, but I just recently listened to Dr. Mike's newest podcast with the behavioral scientist, and I'll have to apologize, I don't remember his exact name, but they had a very interesting conversation about, what is happiness, and that happiness is not actually a feeling, but it's a component of things like satisfaction, pleasure. He mentioned one more. What was it? Feeling. No, it's not a feeling. It's your level of satisfaction, your meaning in life, and well, I don't remember now, but there's components of happiness, and I've been really diving into each of those to see what exactly I'm missing. And they've also had a interesting conversation about what makes successful people successful, and that successful people often lack happiness, true happiness. And I think it's taken me a really long time, you guys, to figure out what happiness happiness means to me. And it's not, all the things that make you successful. It's not basing it on your failures, but for me, I find true happiness in my relationships in life, and everything that doesn't dictate who I am as a person, but what do I like to do. And my level of satisfaction has definitely gone up over the years, which I used to really not be satisfied in life, actually. I was very depressed during my ages of, really 13 to 17. I was really depressed, but I just look back at the person I was, and they would be so incredibly proud of the person I've become today. So everyone can please give yourselves a little round of applause for just being incredibly you and proud of the person you've become because you are such an incredible person. In the most genuinely possible, you are awesome. So yeah, I just have done a lot of self-thinking recently, trying to find hobbies to do here and there. Of course, I'm not doing college soccer anymore, which puts a huge little chink and addition of free time. So I have obviously found other ways to work out and still be with friends when it comes to the soccer setting. I've joined a little soccer league with my friends, and that is so awesome to be able to play without this feeling of that you have to be perfect. It's just something to do for fun. So yeah, that's my little recap for the day. I would say my energy level has been going like this recently, and I'm not really sure why. Actually, this morning I woke up with the worst brain fog of my life. And if you've ever had brain fog, you know how debilitating it can be, because your mind is telling you to go, 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 but your body just kind of doesn't follow suit with that. And I wasn't exactly sure why I woke up with this horrible brain fog. I'm getting better throughout the day, obviously, but I think after drinking some water, that helped significantly, and just moving. But it's been actually a really long time since I've gotten this bad of brain fog. I've been really consistent on making sure I eat good food, move, drink plenty of water, sleep. But it came back today, so I'm not sure what that really says. But I would say during the beginning of this week, I was super motivated, you guys, to get all these videos out for you guys. I went on a video fender bender, you guys, on Monday and Tuesday of last week. Monday and Tuesday, I filmed like 10 hours a day, you guys. I was trying to get ahead in all of my filming and produce enough content for you guys, because right now YouTube is really my only hobby that I'm consistently trying to, optimize. But when I learned about this week about myself, that it is okay to, I guess, be alone. It's okay to sit in the silence, because with someone with anxiety, our brains is just constantly going. And I think that once those things start to shut out, when your brain is so silent, it's very scary, and you're always thinking where's the voice, or what do I have to do next, or what am I supposed to be worrying about now? But when that goes away, naturally, it's a very scary feeling to just be alone. And I've learned that it is okay to be alone and be in the silence, and I think everyone should be, take that moment to push the phone away, turn off everything, and just sit in silence for 5 minutes and see what your reaction is. Because for me, when I did that, I felt anxious, like I was supposed to be doing something, or I don't know, just it was very uncomfortable for me to sit and do nothing and sit in that silence, especially without checking my phone or doing something on the computer. I just sat there in silence, and I've gotten used to now just that uncomfortable feeling diminishing by sitting in the silence. So that's my little recap for the week. Obviously, I'm still doing school intermittently through there, although it's not exciting at the same time. So I wanted to go back to the beginning with you guys. When I first listened to ASMR and the whole shebang, and what people think ASMR artists do, and then what is actual real life. And obviously this is going to be a very vulnerable, normalizing conversation about vulnerability and what my personal experience is, especially as a smaller ASMR creator, and things that have happened to me along the way. So let's begin with early internet years and YouTube. So I remember, you guys, when YouTube was like, not like its inception, because obviously that came a little bit before my time, but the first sort of internet boom that happened like 2015, 2016. I was 13, 14 at the time, and my siblings and I would always watch YouTube like together collectively. And at the time, these creators like Guava Juice, you know, Logan and Jake Paul, Team 10, that whole era is what I'm talking about. And my siblings and I really loved to watch gaming videos, and we would always watch Minecraft YouTubers, gaming YouTubers, really like child-friendly YouTubers. And I'm gonna just have some lip gloss right here. But I still remember when we had, as kids, we got these kid tablets. They were yellow, and they were programmed to have the YouTube app on it, but it was only, the kids could only watch kid approved videos. So my parents got us those so that we could watch YouTube but not get infiltrated with more of that adult content. And it was great because we used to watch all these videos together. That's when my siblings and I would play Minecraft on our Nintendo DS's all day, every day. It was the time to be alive, and I still reminisce in those days of playing like Clash of Clans together. Clash Royale came a little bit later, but a heyday, all of those games, you guys. And eventually, when we got a little bit older, my parents cut the kid restrictions from us because they just felt like we were mature enough to consume more teenage adult content. Not like that type of content, but you understand the joking and the comedy. So as a kid, I remember really loving YouTube groups like the Sidemen. I would always watch them, and then everyone that kind of surrounded their, you know, group. I used to really love, you guys, comedy videos and like skits and all those things. And I remember watching up until 4 a.m. all of these types of videos, and people like Jenna Marbles and Markiplier and you name it, I was watching it. So around this time, you guys, so remember, I'm now emerging 12, 13 years old. My first signs of anxiety and my anxiety symptoms and depressive symptoms sort of manifested and started during this time. And I will never forget the feeling of not being able to control anxiety, because it's been, you know, what is that? I'm going to be 23 this year. 10 years, over 10 years at this point, of learning to control and manage my anxiety. But just, can you imagine, as young as a 12-year-old, like not knowing what anxiety is, how to even like go about managing anxiety and depression, especially in a household that didn't really talk about mental health. Remember, at these times, mental health wasn't really like a huge thing people were promoting like it is now, thank God. But it wasn't that my parents shunned the conversations about mental health. They just didn't know themselves as, you know, fresh parents, of course. So I don't like blame them for not having a conversation or helping me through these things. anxiety, especially about school and soccer. My first anxiety was more, and we're pretty sure I have OCD tendencies. I used to really struggle going to bed at night, and this is where my introduction of trichotillomania happened. To soothe my anxiety, I would pick at my eyelashes all day, all night, because I liked the feeling of like the pokiness of my eyelashes and my eyebrow hairs, and actually like my hair itself. And although that's kind of like a weird thing to say, like it happens, you guys, where you get so immense with anxiety that you find any means, and sometimes means that you don't anticipate on doing, to try to soothe your anxiety. And my anxiety would get so bad that I would have profusive insomnia, where I would stay like awake for up to 72 hours at a crack. At first my parents were not aware that I was just like not going to bed at night, but after some time they had said, hey, like you really need to go to sleep at night. Like, I don't understand why you can't go to bed. You do sports, school, all these activities, but you're still not like tired to go to bed. Because the thing is that I would say, oh, I'm just like not tired. I don't know, I just can't sleep because I'm not tired. Little did they know it was about my anxiety. And my OCD comes from the fact that I had like an alarm clock on the side of my bed, and I would have these anxious feelings about the fact that I was getting less and less sleep as I watched the clock go down. So I would be trying to go to bed and staring at my alarm clock, and let's say it would be like 9 p.m. Well, I would watch it go and tick to 10 p.m. and I would, in my mind, I would go, oh my gosh, now I'm getting an hour less of sleep. That's 60 minutes I don't get to sleep. And then I would watch it go down, and then it would be 11 p.m. and I would go, well, now that's 2 hours less of sleep. I'm not gonna have enough sleep or energy for the next day. And at this time I was struggling with cluster and ocular migraines, and the doctor had told me that if I don't get enough sleep, that could trigger my migraines. And those migraines were terrible, you guys, like staying in school, like vomiting, and like not being able to see, and dizzy. It was fucking awful. So in my mind I was like, oh my gosh, tomorrow I'm gonna get a migraine because I'm not sleeping enough. I'm getting less sleep. Now I'm at 120 minutes that I'm not going to be sleeping. So this cycle would chase and chase and chase. Well, I would always come down to my mother and father's room and be crying over the fact that I had so much anxiety I couldn't sleep. And my mother was very, empathetic towards me, because she, in her mind, was like, oh my gosh, this poor girl, she can't sleep. Her mind keeps racing, like I don't know how to help her. So after probably a good year and a half of struggling this much, you guys, with sleeping, I had recently gotten a phone for Christmas. Now I'm like age 13. My mom put on some rain sounds one of the nights I was really struggling to go to sleep, and she just said, this is gonna just play on in the background, this is gonna help you sleep, okay? And a couple nights go by where I'm listening to more like green sounds, so rain sounds, firewood cracking, very natural sounds. And it did used to help me sleep, because I would think about that sound going to bed versus all the things going on in my mind. We also took away my alarm clock, and my mom just said she would wake me up in the morning, so I didn't have to worry about, watching the clock at night, or, the fear of not waking up. She said she would just get me up in the morning, which I was very thankful for. So I want to say maybe a month after going to bed to those green sounds, I like randomly woke up one night, and the video that had been playing obviously before was of rain, but obviously that video had stopped, because throughout the night you're passing all those hours, the video is playing. And then YouTube had a up in my sleep and I was like, oh my gosh, like, what is this playing? Like, I don't understand what this is that I'm playing. So I immediately like clicked out the video and then started playing like another rain sound to like relax me. But as I was going to bed that night, I was like, what did I just watch? Like, that was weird. So then I was like randomly the next day just like watching my usual videos, and a video popped up with an ASMR like mouth sounds video, and I was like, what the hell is this? So I click it, obviously, and if I could go back to the first time I heard ASMR, I would, because that would have been a crazy experience to have again. But this woman is like whispering in your ear and she's doing all of these sounds, and I was like immediately entranced and focused on it. And at first, you guys, I thought this was something very sensual, like I was basically watching porn on YouTube. Obviously it's not that, but I was very much, as a 14-year-old, 13-year-old, going, oh my gosh, this is like basically porn that I'm watching. So then obviously the nights go by where I'm like clicking on all of these ASMR videos, and the first ASMR artist that I actually watched was Pelga. I think that's how you say your name, Pelga ASMR. Pelga ASMR. But did you know, guys? Okay, side note, she had went away from the ASMR community like for 6 years, you guys, because I'm pretty sure she was bullied for all of her types of weird, exotic ASMR that people were coming after her for being very sensual. But she just came back after 6 years at the beginning of this year. I was like, oh my gosh, she posted, the queen of ASMR is back. Oh my gosh, you guys, I take so much inspiration from her, especially with the details of like the background and the plots for role plays. Go ahead and go subscribe to her right now, and make sure you put some nice comments for her, because I really hope that she sticks around this time and she doesn't get as much hate as she did. But she was one of the first ASMR artists that I was like immediately drawn to, as well as like Karuna Satori ASMR, you know, my favorite ASMR artist to this day. And from there, you guys, I just kind of like boomed into the stratosphere of ASMR. The way it made me feel like so calming, so calm and collected, like I could actually sleep at night, you guys. Like, the power of sleep is incredible. So, and of course, the feeling of sensuation turned then into relaxation, which I figured out and was part of the community at once. And I was immediately like hooked, but I knew that I could not watch this stuff like around anyone else, or especially my parents, because how the hell am I going to explain to my parents that, you know, some woman whispering to me on the internet, talking and doing all these mouth sounds in your ear was something like not sensual. So I kept it hidden. My interest for ASMR and watching ASMR pretty hidden. But I wanted to quickly jump into a story about how I found out that this was something people were actually like into at a very young age. So I went to a predominantly African American, Hispanic, like elementary and middle school. And because I was so advanced in my schooling, I would often take classes that like high schoolers were doing, especially at 7th or 8th grade. So you can imagine the stress and anxiety of a classroom that they're all older than you. No one really looks like you. And just imagine like this little white girl in this Spanish class that I'm going to talk about, my Spanish 2 class that I took. And it was like the first day of classes, and I was so nervous about like meeting friends and everything. And I still remember this guy, his name was Randall, and I'm telling you, you guys, he was so flamboyant. But of course that doesn't fucking matter to me. But I remember him coming to sit next to me, and he was like, hi, my name's Randall, like, you look like you'd be a nice girl. And I was like, okay, like, I guess we can be friends, like, whatever. And towards the like a couple months of school, he just randomly asked me, girl, do you watch ASMR? And I was like, oh my gosh, like, do I tell him the truth? Do I say, yes, I do watch ASMR. So of course I was trying to hide my, interest, and I said, no, I don't watch ASMR. That stuff's fucking weird. And that's how he clocked me that I was listening to ASMR. He was like, oh, so you know what it is, so you must watch it. And I was like, no, I don't even know what that is. Like, I'm sorry, I don't watch it. Of course, the little prestige little girl I am. And he then goes on to say, well, have you watched GB ASMR's new video? It's so bomb. And I was like, I listened to GB ASMR, and this was the time when she was really booming and everyone else was kind of, stepping up. And I was like, I guess I'll watch it, even though I had watched it like that night before and I thought it was good. And he is still to this day the first person I like consoled in the ASMR world in. So we would talk all the time that yes girl, ASMR is like the best thing to relax to at night, like really normalizing the conversation of ASMR to me, like physically in person. To that point I'd only been conversating about it like on YouTube comments and stuff, but that was the first time I had talking to someone about that like in person, and that still makes my heart very warm, just like that moment in general. But of course a couple years go by and I'm just like a behind the closed doors ASMR like listener, and then at this point I'm like really relying on ASMR to go to bed, to relax, and the ASMR community like warmly accepted me into the community just over the fact of anxiety, this being a safe place for all of us to come to, and just sometimes we need to slow down, quiet ourselves, and relax before we do other things. And also the ASMR community at the time was very big on like the revolutionizing of mental health and bringing to the center mental disorders like anxiety, depression, OCD, and I found great warmth in that atmosphere in general. So moving forward, now I'm 14, 15, I don't remember how old I was going into my freshman year of high school. I had moved from that community to a more affluent area, and it's different going from an affluent or coming from a more city school to a more affluent area. I just felt like I couldn't fit in that well, and still to this day I still have like those more ingrained city folk, if you want to say it like that. I relate more to people that come from like those more poor city. I mean, you can be obviously rich in the city, don't get me wrong, but like you understand what I'm saying, right? Like just more, I don't know, urban city kid type of people. But the affluent school that I went to is very much like, how the hell do you say not urban? Just like more farm, like cowboy and rough and tough in the mud type of community. And I was not used to this type of community yet, obviously. So something that's huge in the city is that kids love to create and be creative, and that is like a huge part of our culture in the city, is just being very lively and you're doing your own thing, but together we can, create something new and refreshing. In the more affluent areas, it's either you stick to everyone's lane, and if you veer off to a different lane, you're gonna get severely bullied for it, or you're gonna be seen as crazy, right? So, my freshman year of high school, I was getting a really itch to create, you guys, and nobody really knew it at the time, but I really loved comedy. A lot of my friends said I was funny, and I said, you know what, I'm gonna create a YouTube channel. So I created a YouTube channel called Autumn's Average Aesthetic. I'm so creative, I know. And I created like comedy skits, because at the time skits were like a huge thing, and I would create like 8-minute like skits of like very like relatable things, like, oh, I hate when my sister says she's gonna be late, or I hate when my sister sister says she needs me to pick her up 10 minutes early, but then she ends up being 20 minutes late. That type of silly stuff. And I used to do a lot of like innuendos and little jokes like that, just like around my house with my family, little videos here and there. I thought it was fun, and I actually gained a lot of traction on that channel. I think I got up to 500 subscribers within like 2 months, you guys, because I don't know, I think at the time that was the new and refreshing thing to do. But I've told this story on my channel one time, and I can go into great detail about it, but I'll summarize here. So in my high school, obviously I was very advanced in Spanish, so I had taken like Spanish 3 or 4 my freshman year of high school because I was so advanced in Spanish they wanted to push me up. And of course that means you're a freshman in a senior predominated class filled with a whole bunch of guys. I was the only girl in that class. So I just remember I came in like 2 minutes towards class, everyone was sitting, and I can walk through the door and I can see them all like staring back at like the whiteboard and the projector. So I come in and I sit and I'm like, what is everyone like laughing and cringing about? And I turn my fucking head, and on the whiteboard, one of the dudes that thought it would be funny to fucking put my video up on the fucking whiteboard, and one of my more like, I don't know how to describe it, like a video I wasn't so proud of was playing on the screen. And the second-hand embarrassment you guys are seeing my face, everyone around me knows I have this channel, and they're laughing not because I'm actually funny on that video, but because they think it's the cringiest thing, like, oh, she thinks she's a content creator, all this. I like just stood there in embarrassment, and something that I feel so deeply is the feeling of embarrassment. And I was like, turn this off, you guys, this is not funny anymore, like, just turn it off. Like, okay, I know it's cringe, I just thought I was funny. And I never really promoted my channel. I was never one to ever say, can you subscribe to my YouTube channel? I was never like that. So someone must have found it somewhere, and just decided to put it up on the board because they thought it was funny. So on my bus ride home after that long day, I had deleted that channel like completely. I was like, there's no way, I don't want anyone ever having to see me again. I'm not doing this again now. Everyone thinks I'm fucking weird, like, and I just came to this new school to like have a refreshment of my life, to make new friends and to start a new journey, and now this is what people are talking about me for. And regardless, and at the time I should have just really have had the confidence to say that this is something I just like to do, and I don't care if anyone really, laughs about me or cha-cha-cha, whatever. But I don't have the confidence that I do now, which I would literally tell anyone to fuck off if they were trying to make fun of me for doing ASMR, because that's something I love to do, and I love helping other people. Whatever. But I deleted that channel, which I regret now, because I would have loved to see those little skits that I made that I was so passionate about at that age. After I deleted my channel, I was still listening to ASMR at this time, and I was very sad over the fact that something that I liked to do was now stripped from me. And I just went around my ways. I got very involved in school. I've always been a good student. I got really more involved in sports, which took me obviously to the collegiate level and stuff. And ASMR just became a really prominent part of my life throughout high school, and I was really, again, relying on it for sleep, emotional regulation, and my anxiety management. So I'm moving towards me creating my own ASMR channel. In 2019 is when I officially created my channel, but many months leading up to that, I was in my mind thinking, gosh, like, it's been some years since I've actually created a video. I really want to create a video. I love the act of filming a video, editing it, and then uploading was high school. That's crazy. That was so long ago, you guys. So, I, in the summer, created a channel, and originally the channel, which is now Autumn ASMR, was gonna be like a mixture of a whole bunch of different things, and I actually wanted to create my first video. I wanted to create a video based on like ASMR is weird, like why are people doing this? So I was gonna pretend to do like ASMR for the first time and then just basically clown ASMR, which I don't understand why I would do that now, but yeah. So during the summer I made my first video. You can go check out my first video if you want to get secondhand embarrassment too. It's actually not that bad that I reacted to it a couple months ago on the membership. It's just really bad quality, I would say. I was 16 at the time, and it had done like fairly well, I would say, but the comments people were giving me, like, keep going, like, this is so great, you're gonna get so much better. I kept getting those types of comments, which then fueled me to do even more ASMR, and people would obviously request like video ideas, which I got sucked into the fetish mining of ASMR, unfortunately, at a young age, like doing all the sleeve rolling and videos that I'm just not proud of doing, that unfortunately helped boost my channel very early on, like all my shower videos, my sleeve rolling videos, you name it, all that types of fetish mining, that someone had to actually comment below saying like, hey girl, I think you're getting fetish mined, which that's a whole nother topic for another time, all the fetish mining that happens to young girls in the ASMR community and in general YouTube. But it was something that I never sought anyone's validation for, and for a very long time, especially during COVID years, now we're going into like 2020 to 2022, my videos had been not only a safe place for me during that time, but a safe place for many of you, and I was very, scared to do things like role plays or anything that weren't like trigger based, but I finally opened myself up to doing role plays, and I did so many great role plays, like men's shoe fitting. I mean, you can track the history of all this, like on all my uploads on my channel, but during COVID, obviously we had a lot of extra time, so I started mass producing like videos like almost every day, which quickly turned into burnout, and you'll see that this is crazy to me to even be saying, but I think towards 2021 I had a 4 or 5 month gap of no videos, which I could not even fathom that nowadays, because I think I would actually die if I didn't upload at least once a week. Like, I have to just upload, like, I love uploading so much, but I had so much emotional burnout from doing all these videos and trying to film these videos when no one was really like watching me, because at this time I was not telling my parents about my channel, or even my boyfriend at the time, my channel. Like, I was just not trying to have people shun me for doing something I actually truly wanted to do. And also at this time I was gaining like a lot of subscribers, like in my opinion too fast for a young creator, and it was bringing in a community that just wasn't embodying what I was truly trying to get out of this. And there was a lot of hatred for a while, and telling me, you need to do this, you need to do this if you want to be a better content creator, you need to make this your whole livelihood. And I was like, you know what, I'm done with it, I'm taking a break. So I had a lot of missed motivation trying to film, so that's why I had that huge gap. But then as soon as I came back, I was telling myself, I'm not gonna let anyone tell me what to do. I'm gonna do this for myself first and foremost, and secondly, I'm changing my community. Like, that's it. Like, this community is going to be positive, it's gonna be a safe place only. I'm going to make sure that like the people I bring in, which is another interesting topic, you guys, is that the content you create is very important to how you want your community to be. Because if you go on a video and you're always complaining and you're, being very negative, that's going to turn, in turn, your community is going to be very negative back to you. And that is just something, and how things are gonna go. I want it all positive. And from there, we went on. But something very interesting at this time is that I didn't tell my parents. So I made a little vow to myself when I came back from that break, is that at the time YouTube had this thing where if you wanted to get monetized, like to make money from your videos, you had to have like 1,000 subscribers, and you had to have like a certain amount of hours into it and all this, you know, and you had to get like paid out $100 per month or something. So I had told myself, once I'm monetized on YouTube, I have to tell my parents because they deal with my money, obviously. So I had thought that was gonna take, that was so far down the line, right? Thank God I don't have to tell anyone about my channel because that's so far away, right? You guys, 2 weeks later, I got 1,000 subscribers and I was eligible for monetization on my channel. So this is 2022 now, like my last year of high school. And I was in art class, and I was thinking about, oh my gosh, I have to tell my parents. I have to tell somebody, because this is like the real shit. Like, I could get paid for my videos, which that never, to preface, that never meant anything really significant for me for doing ASMR. But it's a huge plus of doing this stuff is that I get some, you know, monetary-ness out of it. So the first person I thought I should tell after doing this for about a year is probably my boyfriend, because I should feel open enough to talk about these things about him, obviously. So this makes me laugh nowadays, but all I did was send him a link to my YouTube channel. That was it, in a text message. That's all I sent. And you want to know what's so funny is that he responded back with, "What do you want me to say to this?" And I was like, well, I guess I should let you know that I have an ASMR channel. I know it's weird. Like, trust me, I know it's weird, but I will explain like everything to you. Like, I'll explain like how this all works. But I just thought I'd let you know that because now that I have 1,000 subscribers, I'm getting paid for this now. And you should be aware of this, because if this makes you uncomfortable, like, we need to talk about these things. And he sent me like his YouTube like tag or his like account on YouTube, and he was like, you should look at this this account on your channel. So I'm looking through all the comments and I'm like, holy shit. Like, my boyfriend knew about my channel like way at the beginning. He was like one of my first subscribers, but he never told me, you guys, that he was subscribed to my channel. So I was like, oh my god, that's actually so embarrassing. But I was glad that it was an easy conversation, because it was like, this literally changes nothing. Like, I've been your supporter since day one. Like, I just was waiting for you to feel comfortable telling me this, but I fully support you, whatever. So I was like, ooh, that went better than I was expecting. So he had kind of taken on the responsibility of like walking me through how to talk to my parents about this, because that was a very scary situation for me to tell my parents that, like, hey, I'm doing content online, but it's nothing like sexual. I don't want you to think I'm doing anything sexual. By the way, I'm like 16 or 17 at this point. So I tell my parents, like, hey, I'm getting paid from YouTube now. I have an ASMR channel, and I obviously go through what ASMR is. You've probably seen it on the internet before. This is the time it's getting like mainstreamed, and this is something that I'm doing, and I'm getting paid for it really well. I just thought I'd let you know, because it's obviously going to be put into my account. So, like, could you just help me with finances and things? And of course, my dad holds his own business, so he's like, you need to get an LPC right now, because if you think this is going to be going somewhere, like, you need to have your name like business now, where all of the monetization from my channel customs goes into. I've had it ever since, so I guess thank you, Dad, for helping me through the business sides, and he gave me a whole lecture, you guys, on how to run a business and how to basically do business. So some years go by and my parents are fully supportive, obviously, and I tell my best friends, obviously, because they're my best friends, so they got to know too. Obviously I still don't really push that out just because it's not my place to really talk about. I don't know, just not push it in people's face that this is what I do. So come 2023, I think, is when I first started doing custom video work, and it can be a lucrative business if you really think about it, but it's the act of making custom personalized videos for people. And I got that idea from a couple requesters or people in my comment section asking me if I would ever do a custom video for them. So obviously I didn't know what custom videos were at the time, so I kind of was just searching around on the internet, custom videos ASMR, to kind of see what they were about. And I stumbled across this one girl's ASMR page to simply get a grasp of what these were about. And I actually reached out to her because to this day I don't know what her name was, but I was just asking, like, what are custom videos? Like, can you kind of guide me through this? And she explained it all to me, you guys, about how you can make a lot of money doing it by simply letting people kind of pick and choose what parts of their content that they really like about you. So that girl really taught me how to do, the majority of it, how to not let people degrade your time and effort that you put into the videos by not lowering prices. Obviously don't price gouge or gauge, warning me about like any of the fetishes, not to do something I'm not comfortable with, just having fun with it, but saying no, because these people don't understand no sometimes. So I took her advice and I launched customs in 2023. My first custom video, I will never forget. He was the sweetest guy ever, and he just wanted like a best friend roleplay, really easing me into the custom video process. I've had crazy custom video stories, you guys. I do my memberships, like my my custom video horror stories. So if you like to hear all about those, I would definitely recommend joining my memberships. But it's been the most fun and rewarding process to just put things into perspective. I've been doing 23 to 24, 24 to 25, and 25 to 26. So I've been doing custom videos for 3 years, you guys, and I've done over 1,200 videos. So if you divide that by 365, I'm doing, you guys, like 3.25 videos every single day. If you do it by that like line of reasoning, but I'm not recording every single day, you guys, so I am doing like upwards to 6-10 videos like a day when I do record. So there is definitely a market for these things if you want to get into custom video making. It's put a lot of stress on my time, I will say, because some people really want videos like within 24 hours, and of course I put the stress on myself because I do offer these services. Like, if I didn't want to do it, then why am I offering it in the first place, So that's how I make actually most of my money on YouTube, is through custom videos, and there's like a high demand for my custom videos, and I think that's because I really listen to the person and what they want, and really like try my biggest effort to give you guys what you guys want for custom videos. But of course, all that money that I make for customs goes into my schooling and or for the channel itself. So I'm really happy to be doing that. And then last year, beginning of last year, I memberships, which are monthly subscriptions. People can pay to be a member on my channel and they get additional perks. So new releases to video or main channel videos early. They also can get up to 3 additional videos with my main channel videos, and we do our own sort of personalized videos, and they can sort of choose the videos they want per week. And that was an incredible experience just to go into. At first I was a little bit nervous to start them just because I didn't know if really people were going to be into it, but it's definitely helped YouTube pay me out a little bit more because they take my channel seriously when I have memberships, which is so crazy to think about, that you can only take my channel seriously if I have memberships. But I really try to give you guys, a lot over on those memberships as well. And then I offer a whole bunch of other types of services, like my custom video, premium playlist subscription. That's a one-time fee. Oh my gosh, so many things with custom videos, you guys. I could go on and on, but that's basically where it takes me up to today. So I'd like to just briefly get to what do I do in like a normal week as an ASMR artist. So starting on Mondays, I will always, because I have class, I don't have much time during the day to film. So after I go to school and in the PM, I will always brainstorm video ideas. So if I do, two main channel videos, a podcast, 1, 2, 3 membership videos, plus all my other, custom videos. Let's just stick with 6 videos. I need to come up with like ideas for a video like idea. So on a whiteboard, I will write out like some of my brainstorming ideas for video ideas. And sometimes I get to it at the end of the night where I can actually start filming some of those videos. So I usually will go on YouTube and just search ASMR to see what's popping right now, what's popular. Sometimes I go back to my own channel to see what's popular, what people have been asking for, because I like to provide you guys things that you guys want to see and enjoy. So I'll write that out on a little whiteboard, and then I film all day Tuesday, so I'm filming all day today. Wednesdays I have school and league, so I don't get much of filming done then. And then Thursday all day I'll be filming. Friday all day filming. And then Saturday and Sunday I work my other job, so I don't do much behind this, or I should say I don't do much filming on the weekends. But I do a lot of the behind the scenes of like uploading, putting in descriptions, making posts on Instagram and TikTok, and promoting and answering a lot of emails, which I have, you guys, some exciting brand deals coming up. Go me. But I do a lot of like emailing throughout the days, like every single day, because I have so many like custom video requests that I need to like get back to people on. But the biggest thing with this is boundaries and setting your hard boundaries and sticking to them. There's been plenty of times where I've had to say to people like, no, I'm not filming these things for you, or just like your boundary with like your work and life balance. Like after a certain point at night, you really should not be like filming, or just having your calm, collected self at night. And I have this really aromatic little perfume bottle here to help with some ASMR. So I am just most proud of where I am today, and I have received, several comments over the years about like, you deserve way more subscribers than you do. You should have more subscribers by now. Oh, I thought you would have more subscribers by now. You would be making a lot more money and having more subscribers if you did this, this, and this. Let's just get one thing straight. I'm only doing this for me, myself, and I first and foremost. My community is the most important thing to me, because if you grow too quickly, then your community can kind of shift, unfortunately, without you really being a part of it. And let's just think about this for a sec. Let's round it up, 16,000 people in a room. That's like a fucking concert, you guys. scale. So let's say I have 150,000 subscribers. Can you imagine the demand and stress of that many people, like, asking for custom videos or like that much going on? Like, I just don't think I could handle it, you guys. So there's never been a point in time where I have been like ungrateful for the amount of subscribers I've had or have wished to want more. I'm fine with their little community as it is. And of course, I always want to strive for bringing in more beautiful and handsome people in our community, but I don't want to rush it, you know. And I want to just enjoy this process with you all and make content that makes me happy, you know. So that's my little coming to ASMR, life as an ASMR artist, I guess you could say. Yeah, so let's go into our next segment, which is, of course, our mental health tip of the week. Ooh. And today's mental health tip, I wanted to talk about the benefits of reading. And like I said, you guys, I have been so loving reading again. I used to as a kid. Did your parents ever make you do like a reading log during the summer, and then they would have to sign off on how many minutes you guys had actually read? Well, although I was forced to read as a kid, now I really enjoy reading fiction books. My preference is obviously romance and like adventure. But you guys, am I gonna get canceled for saying this? I'm not gonna get canceled, but this is gonna be something you're gonna talk about, okay? I'm really into like dark romance books recently, and what does that say as me as a person? I don't know. But I've been loving book talk recently, and let me tell you why. Because these books, you guys, people have been saying, you know, romance books have no purpose, which is so false, you guys. Romance was made for the women, okay? And while you guys watch your porn, we read our porn, okay? We're the same thing, but we go two different ways, right? So you guys, I read Lights Out by Nessa A. I think that's how you say her name. Lights Out. Oh, so good. Underrated. And then, right now, I'm in the middle of Caught Up, which is the second book of the trilogy, okay? So much better. Oh my gosh. It's like 10 times the first book. And it's obviously dark romance and all that. But then I found out there's a third book coming out, Game On, at the end of March. You guys, I don't think I'm gonna make it. Because I've been like getting through these books like it's basically a TikTok, like just, and I found so much joy in just like reading again. The fantasy and just like the visualness in my brain that happens when we read is so intense. So, coming from a psychological standpoint and research-based, reading reduces stress by lowering your cortisol levels, okay? It improves your function, focus, and attention span. It enhances your empathy and emotional intelligence. It helps regulate mood and anxiety, and provides cognitive stimulation or mental exercise. And this is something I wanted to get into because recently in the like psychology therapy world, something we have to talk about a lot is Alzheimer's disease and overall the brain's health. So you're in luck, because did you know that reading is the most protective, preventative measure that you can do, activity you can do to reduce your risk of Alzheimer's? And here's why. Reading strengthens your neural connections. It builds cognitive reserve for your brain's resilience. It mentally stimulates you by reading, and it is linked to lower risk of cognitive decline in Alzheimer's. And it keeps your memory, comprehension, and processing sharp. So when we think of Alzheimer's disease, you guys, usually what ends up going, so to speak, is your memory, your speech, your ability to do things, remember them. But while you read, your brain is doing a lot of gymnastics, and you're doing so many things in your brain when you read. So not only exercising your internal monologue, if you have one. You're not only stimulating your visual cortex back here to produce the imagery that you're reading, you're not only moving your eyes and sort of bringing in your auditory, frontal, temporal, parietal, like everything. Your brain is fully stimulated when you are reading. And it's honestly really amazing that this one simple activity that you've been doing since you're a child, like, helps your brain, kind of keep going on itself. And other activities that kind of help do the same thing are puzzles, crosswords, word searches. Simple things like walking that we talked about in our last episode can help reduce your risks of these sort of cognitive diseases. Okay, and my personal relationship with reading is that I've really, like, the more I read recently, the more I'm able to, like, comprehend things, and I found that it really helps me, like, in my schoolwork as well. It just keeps me mentally engaged and motivated. I've recently also gotten into audiobooks, which with dark romance books have been like chef's kiss. But even just listening and like reading as you're hearing like improves your cognition like so much. And I have some tips for you to, help you read more if you need help doing that. Something I always say is to start small. So reading 5 to 10 minutes a day, or maybe 5 to 10 pages a day, is like a simple habit tracker that you could get into, especially at night as you're trying to fall asleep. Get away from the electronics and just read. It helps you relax so much. Audiobooks do count as a form of reading. Even as you're listening to something, you can still sort of come on with a visual in your brain that's still exercising your brain. And it's fun as well. Obviously, if you're doing something else and listening to an audiobook, it helps boost your, level of motivation and getting things done as well. I definitely recommend reading whatever excites you the most. If you like dystopian, fantasy, nonfiction, fiction, romance, there's so much out there for you, and I definitely recommend going on something like Instagram and going to Book Talk and kind of just seeing what type of books people are talking about recently and sticking to the genres that you really like. If you like Harry Potter books, go on Instagram and type in, books like Harry Potter, and people will have reviews after reviews after reviews. Book Talk has got you covered, okay? Read something that you're really gonna feel excited to read about, and don't be forced into reading books that you just don't fancy. And pair read with a cozy kind of ritual. So maybe you can read after you take a nice warm shower, or maybe you read 5 to 10 minutes before you go to bed. Maybe you read 5 to 10 minutes as the first thing you do when you wake up, or when you're eating your breakfast, having your cup of coffee. Try to pair it with things to help you sort of enhance the experience a little bit, of course. And sort of just as my final thing, remove the pressure to ever finish a book, okay? I hate that, especially when we were kids, we were taught that we have to always finish a book. If it starts to get not really that interesting, you guys, you don't have to finish it, of course. Just read what makes you happy, and don't be ashamed. Except my books might need a different cover, because if I'm ever seen out in the wild with Caught Up, it's done for me. But don't be ashamed to ever read something that actually makes you excited. And if you have any really good dark romance books, smut, leave it down in the comments for me, because I need some more books if this is the pace I'm going to be continuing to read at. So with that being said, thank you for listening to my second podcast, or my second episode. If you would like me to talk about anything in my third podcast next week, please leave a little comment down below. Make sure that you follow me on Spotify using my link down in the description, or just simply searching Let's Talk About